Hello everyone, I'm Brett and welcome back to Vigor Check. So as you all know, recently we got a new Monster Hunter trailer, the 6th one, showing off the new ice area, a few new monsters, a couple of returning faces, and then also Gormagala at the very end. I don't take this video today to kind of go over what we've seen that is new in terms of monsters, kind of a few bits and pieces, kind of speculating on what they'll fight like, kind of what our expectations are, what we don't want as well. Kind of just jumping straight into it. Primarily, I want to talk about the new flying white Leviathan, Hirabami. When we first see it in the trailer, we see it, kind of acting as foliage, dangling down, and the kid spots it, which then it proceeds to kind of curl up and then fly out towards us. I feel like it's a very cool kind of design. It kind of feels like, it's like an ambushing predator. It can mask itself, especially with kind of like the frills around its head. How it can flatten them out very nicely. It's hard to even see its scales when we first originally saw it. Kind of when it opens up as well, somewhat reminds me of Amatsu, the fight in Rise. But that's just kind of like the first impressions we get. Once it kind of opens up more, we can see, traditionally a lot of predators kind of make themselves seem quite big to scare, to emphasize their strength. It can be seen even in real life, for example, when scaring off bears. In groups of people, they will stretch their arms out and make a really loud noise. It did kind of remind me of it at the very start, kind of seeing the webbing around its arms and feet, as well as the frills on its head kind of expanding out as if, they're trying to show itself to be bigger than it actually is. The scaling itself on the tail as well, it does somewhat remind me of, like, similar to a chainsaw blade. How it sticks out and the scales themselves kind of look like they're pointing in a specific direction. So it'll be definitely interesting to see how it makes use of its tail in combat itself. Will it have, kind of most like circling attacks where it spins around, or will it have more, slam down type, kind of similar to Andronath, or it might have the tail whip as well. But then again, considering that all the gameplay we've seen of it so far from the reveal, it stayed exclusively up in the sky. I kind of do doubt it'll be any of those. Maybe similar to Almudron from Rise as well, since they have a pretty similar tail shape. But we'll have to see. Kind of going on into a kind of bit more the gameplay side rather than just cinematic. The first time we see these monsters, we can see it shoot water from its mouth. Its mouth kind of opens up into a triangle shape as well, which is kind of cool. And there's 3 of them. That is kind of where most of my doubts start to arise. Now, I do want to trust Capcom, however, with the likes of Azure Raphalos and Enraged Elatrion going, and then Amatsu fight itself in Rise, I don't know how I should feel regarding another flying Leviathan that doesn't touch the ground. And especially kind of the level they're flying at as well, where there's quite a bit of distance between the floor and them. It kind of makes me feel like it will be kind of problematic fighting them, and that's kind of not what I want. I don't want another Azure Raphalos case where, without flash pods or an insect glaive to repeatedly bring it down, it becomes excruciatingly painful to fight. I don't want another case of Amatsu where my longsword barely misses it because it's just like, a millimeter slightly higher than it usually is off the ground, having to, like only whack its tail. It's not a fighting style I enjoy. So I do hope it is not the same case. But kind of looking at the gameplay wise, where it does come down to a kind of a straight I guess a straight form horizontally while doing some of the attacks and roaring as well. And there's also a spinning attack it does with its body and its tail where it does actually touch the ground. But I don't think kind of Beyblading around will be a very valid time to attack the monster itself. So there's a lot of stuff from the gameplay alone that kind of does bring up some concern. It will be another pack monster, as we know, so there's a potential chance that we might get an alpha variant. Kind of moving in packs might be bigger, might have a few different things. But again, the large dung pods will probably be very necessary for these fights. Especially considering, if all 3 of them go into the same spin attack on the floor, or if all 3 of them refuse to get down on the floor or anything like that, it would be a lot more annoying to try and handle. And I don't think anyone kind of wants to be put up that kind of fight. But other than that, I think these monsters look really cool. The fins and the webs on the arms and hands definitely do give me a feeling that, they're not just permanently in the sky. Sure, it can be to catch air, to keep themselves, permanently airborne, but at the same time, it does give me a slight feeling that if there's any caves nearby water, they might be in that water itself. After all, I do believe, I've been calling them flying leviathans, but I do believe they're flying leviathans, so it makes sense. Other than the fact that, you know, the combat is what I'm a bit, you know, wary of, kind of on defense, regarding should I be excited for it, should I not, especially considering how high these guys fly up with just a tail dangling towards the floor at a reasonable level for us to hit. I think these are very cool monsters. I'm definitely looking forward to see how they are. And I'm also pretty sure they are the monster that the switch axe in the gameplay we saw at the very early stages is from. It looks beautiful. I love the gear. I love the colors. I love the scaling. So, you know, aesthetically, these monsters are very nice. They're very beautiful, to put it simply. However, going into kind of combat, we'll have to see how Capcom tackles it. If we get different ways to bring it down, it would be great. But at the same time, if it becomes a case of people are cycling on ways to keep it down the floor repeatedly, so you know you don't get you get to do extended periods of DPS, or if insect clips can bring it down, if we can flash it down to bring it onto the floor, if there's ways to hit it with terrain, like in that one clip during the trailer we saw, to bring it down to the floor repeatedly, it would be nice. But I'd rather have the monster kind of fly low enough or have a hitbox low enough for us to keep attacking when it's just floating in the air. I do definitely think that insect glaive along the bow guns, the bow itself, and potentially even the gun launch, depending on how the tail is, we'll have a better time fighting it than the likes of dual blades, obviously. The lance I think will be okay with its upward poke. The switch axe might have a few problems, but I know for a fact the longsword itself will definitely have a couple of things that will put it off. Maybe even the greatsword. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below regarding these monsters as well. Are you guys excited to fight Arkfeld in the beta? And I do hope we get to see its ability to drain powers, and maybe even confirm my theory of there's different elements he can get himself. I've been Breads. Thank you guys for watching. I hope you've enjoyed. Let me know down in the comments below if there's anything that you feel like might happen, any theories you may have, and hopefully I'll see you guys soon.